Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the football betting series here on YouTube Premier League edition. With April firmly in the rearview mirror, we move on to the month of May, and we haven't got off to the best of starts. 5 wins, 3 losses and 1 push, and a monthly loss of £32.60. When we take that away from our overall record, we're standing at 177 wins, 76 losses with 25 pushes, and a total series profit of £801.15. I've got 3 picks in today's episode, so if you think I'm talking some sense, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Without further ado, let's get into it. Our first pick is my favourite game of the weekend, and it's 4th place Newcastle playing host to 5th place Chelsea. And Newcastle, they picked up a point on the road in their last match against Brighton. The Seagulls took the lead through Yankuba Minter in the first half, and they held on for the longest of time before Isaac tied the game up from the penalty spot on the stroke of the 90th minute. Speaking of penalties, Newcastle fans were frustrated a number of times as VAR did rule out 2 more penalty awards in the 59th minute and the 72nd minute, and perhaps on a different day Isaac would have had a chance at a hat-trick from the spot. Alas, Newcastle picked up 1 point in their 1-1 draw. In terms of form, that result does mean that Newcastle's form has been very mixed of late, 1 win, 1 loss and 1 draw in the last 3 Premier League matches, resulting in them slipping from 3rd place down to 4th place in recent game weeks. They host a Chelsea side who were the first of 4 teams this season to give Liverpool a guard of honour ahead of their match at the weekend. But after the ceremony is where the respect stopped. Chelsea brought the game to the newly crowned champions, and this was captured nicely by Enzo Fernandez making the breakthrough after just 3 minutes. Taking a look at the numbers, despite the Reds holding more of the ball, it was Chelsea who dominated the game statistically, so perhaps it was no shock when they made it 2-0, although this was very much due to a Quansah mistake. Virgil van Dijk managed to convert a header from a corner late on in the game to give Liverpool fans something to smile about, but those smiles were wiped off the Scouser faces when Palmer tucked away a late penalty, with the final scores ending 3-1 to Chelsea. In terms of form, that does mean that the Blues of West London are unbeaten in 6, and they have won each of their last 3 Premier League matches. When we take a look at the head-to-head record, the last encounter between these sides took place in the EFL Cup back in October. Newcastle won out 2-0 with Isaac opening the scorings, followed by a Disasi own goal, with both goals coming in a 3-minute span to end the game. And that's how the match would finish. This result for Newcastle broke a brief 2-game winning streak for Chelsea over the Toon. My prediction for today's game is that coming into this one, we are really going down to the wire for these European spots. 3rd through 6th are separated by less than 3 points, so there's still a lot to play for late in the game, although we already know the champion and the relegated sides. However, with such a mixed recent head-to-head form, I do struggle to pick a side in this one, and I do think we're in for a lot of goals. Newcastle have seen over 2.5 goals in 6 of their last 7 Premier League matches, with Brighton being the only exception. They've also seen over 2.5 goals in each of the last 11 matches played at St James's Park. Whereas Chelsea, they've seen 3 of the last 4 Premier League games see over 2.5 goals, and in 4 of their last 6 away matches. When we take a look at the head-to-head records, the last encounter did finish 2-0, but that was in the EFL Cup. But each of the last 3 Premier League encounters have seen over 2.5 goals. Therefore, I'm going to back over 2.5 goals for a full stake here in bet number 1. Our second selection sees 18th place Ipswich Town playing host to 9th place Brentford. And Ipswich, they managed to battle back from 2 goals down in their last match against Everton at Goodison Park. Beto and McNeil put the Toffees ahead after 33 minutes before Julio and Cisco managed to peg one back for Ipswich just ahead of the half-time break. And as much as Everton edged the numbers in the first period, there can be no doubt when taking a look at the second half numbers that it did belong to Ipswich. And this dominance would tell in the 79th minute as George Hurst would find the equaliser with the final scores ending 2-2. In terms of form for Ipswich Town, there is credit to earning a away point from 2 goals down. However, the Tractor Boys are still winless in their last 5 Premier League matches. They host a Brentford side who were playing a somewhat distracted Manchester United side in the Premier League. The Red Devils may have one eye on a European final, but they did find themselves 1-0 up thanks to a very rare Mason Mount goal early on. The Bees would then turn the tables before the half-time, with goal contributions from Luke Shaw's own goal and a Kevin Schade strike to see it 2-1 at the interval. From here on out, Brentford pushed their advantage, scoring twice more with Schade's second of the match, and Mbeumo got in on the scoring as well. The Bees led 4-1 after 74 minutes. So perhaps a little bit of complacency is to blame as Manchester United managed to battle their way back into the game. Garnacho scored after 82 minutes, with Diallo scoring a late consolation goal in the 95th, with the final scores seeing Brentford win 4-3. In terms of form, 3 wins on the bounce for Brentford. They're also unbeaten in their last 5 Premier League games. And the Bees will be one of a few clubs hoping that Manchester United do well in Europe, as if the Europa League is won by an English side, Brentford could slip into European qualification if their good run of form continues to the end of the year. In terms of the head-to-head record, the last match between these sides was a very exciting spectacle to behold. Ipswich Town jumped out to a 2-goal lead with thanks to Schmodix and Hurst, but they were unable to hold on to half-time as Visa scored in the 44th and 46th minute to restore parity going into the interval. Then, in the second half, Brentford hit the front through Mbeumo's penalty after 51 minutes, with the Tractor Boys equalising late through Liam Delap, in the hopes to earn a point in their battle against relegation. However, Mbeumo would score his second and Brentford's 4th deep into stoppage time, with the final scores ending 4-3. My prediction for today's game is that Ipswich Town are relegated, but they've shown in recent weeks that they're still battling to try and get results. And as mentioned earlier, Brentford need to continue their winning ways in order to secure European football. All of that is to say that I think we're looking at some goalmouth action in this game and both teams to score, and here's why. Ipswich Town have seen both teams to score. Ipswich Town didn't see both teams to score in the Newcastle or Arsenal games. However, this was largely due to getting a man sent off in the first half. If we ignore this, we can see that Ipswich have seen in each of the last 5 games where they've kept a full complement of players. Also, both teams to score has come in 4 of the last 5 home games. Whereas Brentford, they've seen both teams to score in 5 of the last 7 Premier League games. And away from home, this result has come in 3 of the last 4 matches. Additionally, when we take a look at the head-to-head record, the last encounter between these sides saw both teams to score. Therefore, I'm going to back both teams to score for a full stake here in bet number 2. Our third and final selection sees 6th place Nottingham Forest playing host to 19th place Leicester City. And Nottingham Forest, they picked up a draw in their last game away to Crystal Palace. A bit of a listless first half was brought to life as Tyreek Mitchell was fouled by the goalkeeper Matt Sells to hand Crystal Palace a penalty for the opportunity to take the lead. That penalty was quickly dispatched by Eze, but the Eagles wouldn't enjoy a lead for very long as just 4 minutes later Murillo deflected Neco Williams' shot for the equaliser, and that's how the scores would finish, 1-1. That result for Forest means it's pretty mixed over the last 3 games, 1 win, 1 draw and 1 defeat to their name, as they have now slipped outside of the top 5 Champions League spots. They host a Leicester side who broke their Premier League duck last time out against Southampton. Vardy scored the first goal and Ayew doubled the lead ahead of half-time in a convincing 2-0 win. When we take a look at the numbers, Leicester were very much the stronger side, and the Foxes will be hoping to play Southampton every week. In terms of form, that victory for Leicester broke a record of no win in 11 Premier League matches. When we take a look at the head-to-head record, Nottingham Forest managed to pick up the win in the reverse fixture. Ryan Yates opened the scoring after just 16 minutes, with Jamie Vardy levelling the affair a few minutes later. With the scores tied 1-1 going into half-time, something needed to change from a Forest perspective, and change they did. When we take a look at the numbers, we can see that Forest went on to dominate the second period, so it will come to no surprise to hear that Chris Wood would score a brace to hand Forest a 3-1 victory. That result made it back-to-back wins for Forest over Leicester, and they've also won 3 of the last 4 encounters across all competitions. My prediction for today's game is that for me, a lot of games at the end of the season come down to which team needs to win the match more, and this is 100% Nottingham Forest. Leicester are dead and buried and can't finish any higher than 18th this season, compared to a Forest side who are definitely still fighting for those top 5 Champions League spots. With Aston Villa breathing down their necks and Chelsea, Manchester City and Newcastle within catching distance, I'm going to back Forest to pick up a win here for a full stake in bet number 3. So there we have it, 3 picks in today's episode, starting off with Newcastle versus Chelsea. I have just been informed this match is actually on the Sunday, so that will be the 11th. Nevertheless, we're taking over 2.5 goals, odds of 1.48, a £40 full stake to return £19.20. Next up, Ipswich Town versus Brentford. I'm taking both teams to score. Odds of 1.53, a £40 full stake to return £21.20. And then wrapping up today's episode, Nottingham Forest versus Leicester City. I'm going to be backing the home side. Odds of 1.33, a £40 full stake to return £13.20. So across the weekend we're going to be risking £120 to hopefully pick up as much as £53 and 60 pence, and hopefully correct our May record as well. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.